Hey everybody, another GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Hill King by Malev. This is another of the, if you haven't been following this series, micro game zine games from Blacksite Studio and a variety of different writers. This is of course written by Malev, famous for Demon Ship, kind of the first of the micro games to come along from Blacksite, and is a game of, well, King of the Hill Championship style wrestling. This is a procedurally generated wrestling game using only a Jenga set. A set of Jenga blocks. You can get these at the dollar store. That's where we're going to get ours, where you create a basically like hill that you're going to climb on. So this is the wrestling ring that you're going to climb around on. And then any type of unarmed wrestling miniature you want. You get a very cool stat block here for randomly rolling up what you're going to have. So you roll for your head first. You can have an orcish head, alien head, regular guy head, leg heads. You have a leg for a head, a bug head, or a robot head. Left arm could be no arm, leg arm, regular muscle arm, huge muscle arm, pincer arm, or tentacle arm on both sides. And then the left legs could be no legs, arm leg, huge muscular leg, pincer leg, and tentacle leg. Make sure you kit bash the coolest looking mini possible. The whole point is to make something fun and cool. And this is a party game. So this is designed to be the kind of game that you play with up to 6 people and sort of a minimum of 2, maximum of 6. And yeah, you just throw down fun, cool miniatures. Now I am going to play this game using all found materials and one of my all-time favorite 1985 toys by Mattel and Toei called Muscle Men. Weird long story short, I have a unopened, it's worth like $500, but I'm gonna open it, Malev, just for you. I'm gonna open this unopened sealed garbage can of 10 Muscle Men, and we're gonna play this game with Muscle Men. I'm gonna make an arena. We'll glue together some Jenga blocks. We're gonna go to the dollar store after I'm doing this on the way to the cottage. And we're gonna play Hill King at the cottage, I think, as our big cottage game for me and the kids, because it's perfect. And Muscle Men really are, if you know anything about the history of Muscle Men, exactly the right thing to play Hill King with if you're looking for miniature inspiration. We're not gonna paint them. We're just gonna play with the weird pink fleshy Muscle Men as they are. More rules. So activating and actions. This is a dice pool game, so you're gonna roll a pool of dice. Anything that's 4, 5, or 6 you keep for yourself in your activation pool for the turn. 1s, 2s, and 3s will get handed off to your opponents. They'll get handed off in various ways. If you have 3 or less players, then it's going to be the 1s go to someone of your choice, the 2s go to the other person, and the 3s go to the person you picked the first time. Otherwise, it goes left, right, ahead of you with 4 more players for who they get handed off to, and they become part of their dice pool. Actions are based on the value of the dice you rolled, so you need to keep the values that you rolled in front of you when you take your turn. And anytime there's a challenge, when you perform an action that has a challenge, you and your opponent roll off. If you at least equal the defense roll, then you get to basically do the challenge. If you lose it, if they roll higher than you, then the alternative version of the challenge happens. And you can stack challenge rolls by having more dice of the same value or higher go into the pool when you make the action. Each additional die adds +1 to your roll when you make the challenge. Game objectives to be king of the hill, be the last man standing, or after 6 turns, be the highest. And then block tokens. During challenges, you might have a block token on them. You can reroll your challenge dice if you do. Momentum, the player may spend multiple dice from their pool to perform a single action, as I already described. And a fall test of models forced to be moving towards the edge of a level. They may fall. They pass a fall test. The rest must roll 4+ while on the edge of the level. Failure means they fall down 1 level and take a damage. And then engagement range for a challenge, roll to a cure. You have to be in base-to-base contact or in contact with the model or adjacent and on different levels, so above or below. The game ends when 6 rounds have passed. A round is over after all wrestlers have had a chance to activate. So then during the turn, a normal game of Hill King involves 4 players at least. At the beginning of the turn, all players involved will roll 6 dice based on the status of their wrestler. The result of the dice roll will determine the turn order and what actions are available to what players. If your wrestler has 2 or more health, you start with 6. It's the only stat in the game. Roll 6 dice. If you have 1 health, you roll 3 dice because you're almost dead. After rolling, players make 2 pools of dice. Everything that's a 4+ they keep, and then they put in the wrestler's activation pool. Results of 1, 2, and 3 are going to shift to other players. The person that rolled the most 1s, 2s, and 3s, however, has initiative for the turn. So that's low rolls. You don't keep the dice, but you do get to go first and start spending your dice. Shifting dice. Results of 1 go directly to the player to your left. 2 go to the player across from you, or your second left, and 3 go to the player to your right, or your third left. All shifted dice now form the new pool of actions for that wrestler for the turn. And then these are your actions. So move, you can use any dice that's a 1+ to climb up or down a level. You can blitz or move on a 3+, horizontally along the same level any length, so basically you can go along a side to side, but you can't go around a corner. And then You can dice, toss, or challenge. So if you hit a corner, then you can go straight. So you can't go like if you're halfway through a side, you have to go to the corner and then spend another dice to go along the other side. You can't turn during a move. And then 3+ dice for wrestling actions. You can toss somebody. It's a challenge roll. The challenger wins. The foe moves down a level and takes the damage. The foe wins. No models move. Grapple. It's a challenge roll. The challenger wins. Switch positions with the foe. If the foe wins, remain in place or switch positions. You can choose. 5+ dice can be a shove. It's a challenge roll. Challenger wins. Force the foe to move horizontally along the same level and make a fall test. If the foe wins, remain in place or switch positions. 5+ dice for a punch down. A target model's level that's below you. Challenge roll, and the challenger wins. The foe makes a fall test. If the foe wins, they remain in place. Drag down, it's someone who's above you. The challenge roll, if the challenger wins, the foe makes a fall test with -2 to the roll. And if the foe wins, they remain in place. And then finally, tackle on a 3+. You can pile driver somebody after a blitz. You have to move first and then try and pile driver somebody. And it's a challenge roll. If the foe wins, go down a level and they take 2 damage. Or sorry, if the challenger wins, sorry. If the foe wins, you and the challenger go down to the level and you take 2 damage. You take them with you. And then body slam only after a blitz, deal a damage, then challenge roll. You do it automatically, basically. Challenge wins. So if the challenger wins, force the foe to move horizontally along the same level and then make a fall test with -2. And if the foe wins, remain in place, switch positions. And then finally, you can go defensive. You can spend a 1 dice for Pilly Shell, gain a block token. And that's it. That is as simple a game as you can get. There's an appendix. If there's only 2 players involved in the match, it's just where the dice go. Results of 1, 2, and 3 will simply go to your opponent. If there's only 3 players involved in a match, change the way the results shift as follows. Results of 1, choose either player to your left or right. Results of 2 will go automatically to your opposite of your first choice. And results of 3 will then go back to your first choice. And then we get some cutouts of different wrestlers that you can use. And that's it. So I love this conceptually. I'm really into games you can play at the dollar store. If I was teaching a class on writing games, on game design, I would do a challenge where I would give people $20, have them go to the a dollar store, pound store, like whatever style, cheap accessory store you have, and say, you have this as your budget, you need to design a miniature game. And this is what Malev would come out with. I love this as a concept because you could literally spend probably $5 to $6 at the dollar store and have everything you need to play this game. In fact, I might go do that. That might be a thing that I do. You just need to find appropriate pieces and then have your setup basically, and you could play this out of the dollar store as a challenge. Yeah, we're just gonna glue our pieces together to make our wrestling ring, and we'll have our Hill King Kings ready to go. So there it is, another micro game from Malev, and another in the Zine Games for Blacksite Studio. I like all of these so far. I think I love this one for its simplicity. It has great game design, it fits its theme, and there's tons of opportunities to be creative inside it, both with the gaming space, with the making it a Jenga blocks, the miniatures themselves, and the actual theme of what you do during the turn is simple enough that as long as you just have this little cheat sheet in front of you of the action list, it's real simple to play this game. I would just photocopy these a couple times and see what you can spend dice to do, and then go play. I'm gonna try this one out with the kids because I think it's gonna be super fun. I'm gonna have a good time making the board and stuff too. So yeah, this one I think is the most accessible for a young audience. The other ones are fairly complicated for what the audience requirement are. This one's just people beating each other up and down a mountain. So I'm pumped to give this one a try because I think this is going to be a really good one for just sitting at the dining room table and having a good time playing something silly. So there it is, Hill King from Blacksite and Malev. Big thanks for watching. Big thanks for them sending along these copies to review. Till next time, I'm Ash. Have a great day.